which is Satanism.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of On the Line. Well, I just jump on really quick, and I just want to touch on a couple of things that are just so big. I just got to jump on and give my opinion on it. And then, so we're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, we're live on Twitter, we're live on Restream. So we're live everywhere. So those of you who are watching, feel free to jump on in on the conversation, leave your comments. Also, if you're on YouTube right now, please click like, subscribe, and share this video because we're going to go in on this drama surrounding Pose. Now, last night, y'all, I was at work minding my business like I always do. And it just so happens I got an alert before the story even broke about Jenna Mock was at the rap party for Pose, and she basically gave a 15-minute speech where she went off and started putting the behind-the-scenes shenanigans of Pose on blast because, we're all excited for this show. The third and final season premieres tomorrow on FX, and a lot of us are really excited for this final season. I'm upset, and I've said it numerous times on previous videos, that it's only 7 episodes, but I'm glad, nevertheless, that we're getting as much episodes as we've gotten in as many seasons. Get in and get out. This is what Stephen Canal said. So last night, in case some of y'all been living a bit under a rock, I'm gonna give y'all a little recap. Now, Jenna Mock is an executive producer and director of the FX drama, and she basically left her co-stars, network bosses, and reporters gagging at the show's premiere party, which happened on Thursday night, by going off on a wide-ranging and flabbergastingly fiery speech. Now, the speech lasted about 15 minutes, and she complained about how much the network is paying her, demanding better treatment for the trans community, shouted "fuck Hollywood," revealed that she basically cheated on Papi. Angel Curiel, plays Papi on the show. They have been dating, in case y'all didn't know that, but yes, they are. She basically said that she slept with someone in the show's crew. She basically begged him and put him on blast in front of everybody and begged him not to leave her over the infidelity, basically decried over the quality of the writing of the show, which I think she said that she had an issue with the writing within the first 2 episodes of season 1, and had a brief conversation with co-creator and Hollywood mogul Ryan Murphy from the stage. So instead of her actually taking this moment to speak about this behind the scenes and deal with it, she decided to put it all on Front Street in front of everybody, and people was literally looking like, what the hell is going on? That was one of the words that apparently somebody overheard one of the guest stars or whatever saying, like, what the hell is happening? So yes, Janet went off. She probably had way too many wine spritzers. I don't know what kind of wine they were serving last night when they had it, basically they ran out jazz at Lincoln Center. And she went off on all this. She basically went on to say, does this make you feel uncomfortable? It should. It should make you effing shake your motherfucking boots. This is speaking truth. This is what Pose is. And she also complained about the quality of the material from the male writers on the show's first 2 episodes, and basically addressed Murphy, saying that you brought girls in to help you. And then went on to say, who brought the girls in? She asked him. I did. Murphy replied, I wanted the girls to be there. But the speech took an even more personal turn when Mock demanded that boyfriend Angel Bismarck Curiel stand up right now. Bismarck Curiel nervously stood up, and Mock then said to the crowd, let me tell you something about love. Today I was going to let Angel go, she says. I was going to let you go, right? But what did I do? I F'd someone in the crew, right? At that revelation, They basically, like I stated before, one of the guest stars could be heard gasping and asked what the hell is happening. She went on to say, Angel, I'm not losing you. You hear me? You are fucking important to me. And then she says, I don't want to live in a house alone. I want you, you mother effer, right there. That's who I want. I'm getting what's mine. Now, I get all the gagation about inequality, because, this is something relatively new that we're seeing trans people being represented on a show like Pose. And I like the fact that this is progressing and we're seeing progression happen. And that's why I loved about Pose. The problem is, not with her, it's with the networks. Y'all still moving a little slow in regards of acceptance within the trans community and Black trans women, of course. Now, it's ridiculous that she's making 40 grand an episode on a show like Pose. But then again, you have to think about it. It's cable TV. Cable TV ain't paying nobody no money, quiet as it's kept. And yes, I know people can say, but Ryan Murphy's making this. First of all, Ryan Murphy's been in the game for 25 years. Janet started out in the industry yesterday. So trying to compare her situation to his situation is null and void. And also, he has about a dozen plus shows currently in development, currently running, or has been on TV. I've been following Ryan Murphy since he did Popular back on the CW, which was the WB at that time, back in the day. So yes, he has all these different shows. He has the Halston thing, all the other stuff coming on. And it's sad that, she had to, I get the gripe about the business aspect, but to put your personal business on you sleeping with someone in the crew, whatever y'all relationship was going on, or whatever was going on in the relationship between you two, that's something that you work out privately. Or maybe, I just also feel like she took that opportunity away from him to process. Maybe this was something, I don't know how long ago the cheatation happened. I don't know. We don't know the timeline and all that. But it could have happened a week ago, could have happened a year ago. And maybe in that situation, he's trying to figure out mentally how to, people go through the process of cheating. It's the shock, denial, anger. There's so many different steps that you go through in a relationship that you need to process. And for you to take the control and the narrative and be like, well, I'm going to put this on blast in front of an audience, that to me would piss me off, because it's like, wait a minute, that's something personal that you and I are dealing with. And you're putting this out here in front of an audience who doesn't know about what's going on between us. And also, this makes me look at her crazy, although I will say before all of this, I kind of looked at Janet Mock with a side eye. There was always something about her that rubbed me the wrong way. To me, her nose was very bougie. There was always this bougie energy I got from her. And there was always something her ego was bigger than the opportunities that she was given. And due to her success of Pose and being on Pose, she had a Netflix deal and still does have a Netflix deal. So she could say fuck FX all she wants, which I'm thinking is what it is. And I'm sure they're probably not going to work with her after that. But yeah, she still has her Netflix deal. Good for her with that. We'll see what she can develop outside of that. And I'm looking forward to seeing what other projects she has to work on. But the inequality, they really need to work on that. I know the trans women in the audience, the cast members, Dominique and India and everybody were, they had her back in that whole situation, I'm sure, with the inequality and everything that was going on. And another thing we need to talk about is how the industry as a whole likes to profit off of the backs of minorities, be it gay people, Black people, Asian people, trans people now, because being trans is trendy. Hollywood looks at things in regards of trends. They don't really care about your real life. They're looking at what sells and what trends. And right now, Pose is something that is on our fingertips. It's on our radar. And, it's going to be trending tomorrow. I even think all this drama that she's bringing up is going to get the ratings. People are going to now tune in. I'm sure after this all came out yesterday, I guarantee you there's millions of more people that's probably binging both seasons on Netflix before the season premiere airs tomorrow, which I think is good for business. And it's sad that everything has to be looked at from a business standpoint. But you know what? I guess all, whether positive or negative, all juice is good juice. So One of the things we also have to point out is like, you know what? Ryan Murphy did say in my career that has now lasted 25 years, it is the most important thing that I've been a part of, talking about Pose. And it is the thing that I think that I'm the most proud to consider myself a part of. And Stephen Canals, co-created the show. He recounted how, so she's not the only one dealing with her own stuff too. Stephen Canals basically said he took 166 meetings in LA trying to get Pose made. Now, on the 167th meeting, he met Sherry Marsh, who was an executive producer, who introduced him to Ryan Murphy, who not only agreed to make the show, but to make it with Canals. So Ryan Murphy has given the opportunities to a lot of these people. And I'm not saying roll over and be grateful. That's not what I'm saying. Oh, because he gave her the opportunity that she should just sit back and accept. I ain't saying all of that. Whatever the issue is, I don't know him that well on that context. I just know that, okay, you've been given a platform and that platform has led you to other opportunities, hence her overall deal with Netflix. And Stephen Canals has his overall deals. And whatever the financials and stuff is, that's something she should have been negotiating with her financial advisors and her agent and her manager and all those people who should have been negotiating higher pay with the show. And from what I heard recently, because I read an article, Stephen Canals said that the initial idea for Pose was Damon was supposed to be in a farm. It was supposed to be a more darker show. Damon was supposed to be a hooker on Christopher Street selling his ass. That was the original concept. And then he kills his pimp, or his pimp was murdered. I'm not going to say whether or not he was the killer because I don't remember that part. But the pimp was supposed to get killed. There was supposed to be a cat and mouse whodunit sort of thing. And he gets taken in. So there was supposed to be a lot of that, but then they took that piece out. And Ryan Murphy was like, go back to the initial first draft of what you wanted Pose to be about. Hence why we're seeing what we see on the show. And yes, they didn't get it right. But I have to also say this. This is why it's important that we have more trans people behind the scenes, as directors, as writers, because she was complaining about how the writing in the first 2 episodes. And this is why I say it's important that we have people within the community being behind the scenes, crew members, not only just crew members, but also writing the stuff, coming up with the ideas. That's why I feel like as a producer, as an artist, and someone who's a creator and a content creator, it's important to, if you're not someone who is well adversed on trans issues, like I have a lot of trans friends, I have a lot of conversations with my trans friends, but I can't 100% jump on something to do with trans people because I'm not of that experience. But I like to have people within the community around me so that way I'm culturally aware of how to be better in a lot of situations. And that's why I said representation is important. This is why we fight so hard to have the representation that we have in the community and to bring more of those people into the forefront so that way those conversations are had. So yes, having trans actors portraying those trans roles is vitally important. That's why I'm glad we have what we have. And I also think, excuse me, I want to bring up India Moore, because India Moore went on Twitter and had something to say about everything that's been going on. And I thought it was quite interesting that she felt to give her 2 cents about everything that was going on. She said, Angel BC is a beautiful person and is deserving of so much undue respect. He is not an endless well, and yet he gives so much. Angel is also deserving of much protection, love, care, and grace. Sometimes when people are upset or grieving or feel anything strongly, we snap. The closure of our show is a process we are all negatively, similarly, and differently. It is a time for reflection. This project was the first of its kind, and none of us knew what to expect, but we all pulled so much from ourselves to give to Pose. It is hard to walk away from something you literally built with your life, feeling underappreciated. As we approach the premiere of our season finale, please share only your love publicly with our Pose family as we process our journey privately. We gave to Pose to give to you. Much like the characters on the show, none of us are perfect and all of us need love. Excuse me. The honesty shared was necessary and uncomfortable. During a time where television networks benefited from the pandemic, through our uprisings, our value wasn't enough to even begin to debate or renegotiate. It is frustrating to be reminded how corps capitalize on our pain in life. That part is true. Without batting a lash or using the public lessons we have had about our culture to revise the metric. And she said peace on that. But here's the thing. When you say, please share only your love publicly with our Pose family as we process our journey privately, when you go out there and you decide to put the tea on blast, we're not allowed to critique what's going on publicly when you've made it public. And this was an argument. Another thing too, I know trans women have a hard time finding cis men who love them for them unconditionally without worrying about what's between y'all legs and this, that, and the other. Like, you want real, authentic love. And I felt like because of conversations I read about her and Angel, where, you know, he loves her for her. And he said he got his education on trans issues. He didn't know the proper vernacular. He didn't know all the other stuff. He found true love with this woman, you know, seeing beyond what people have in their mind when it comes to trans people. Because I pulled up this old Page 6 article from like a year ago where they were talking about their relationship. And it said, it began innocently enough. I had just wrapped an episode I was directing, and he made me know he was attracted to me in a very jarring way because I just wasn't in the romantic headspace at all. A day later, at one of our first screenings, he asked, "Are you happy with your relationship?" And I just answered, "Yeah," and then he walked away, but it struck me. Michael admitted to herself that she wasn't content in her 3-year marriage to I don't know what the guy's name, but it just says Treadwell. So maybe I missed something with his first name or whatever. But yeah, with her she was married prior. And says it just became this personal battle of how much I'm going to stay married out of obligation to this person who supported me. Now, ultimately, the 23-year-old who is, well, damn, I didn't know he was that young, that she's 36 or might be 37 now, and he's in his mid-20s. So she filed for divorce in February, and then they began this relationship. So I'm thinking, based on the timeline, maybe she didn't give herself a chance to get over the previous relationship before she jumped into the new one. And then everything was happening so fast. And you know, a lot of times when it comes to relationships, when you got something good going and you don't know how to deal with it, so you cheat. So it's like, I'm going to sabotage my relationship because so much greatness is happening. So much, everything just seems like a fairy tale. Everything is so perfect that I'm just going to fuck this thing up. And we've all been, well, I won't say all, but many of us have experiences or have gone through that. When something is so good, we self-sabotage because we feel like we don't deserve it. So hopefully she gets everything done. I mean, works everything out with her business endeavors. I really hope that she works out all of this stuff that's going on behind the scenes with, you know, I'm glad she put this out here because it allows, you know, Hollywood to wake up. Sometimes you got to slap the shit out of Hollywood for them to wake up and realize there's an issue here. But yes, Pose is groundbreaking. Pose is a show that is nothing like we've ever seen on TV before. And I know how we get. When something is such a minority and something is so young, fresh, and new, and something we haven't experienced and seen happening, and we're so excited because this is the world that I am all too familiar with. Many people aren't, but I'm familiar with this world, the ballroom world, you know, being around Black and Latino people who are of the trans spectrum and the queer spectrum, where we're not allowed to make it into Hollywood, so we create Hollywood via the balls and this, that, and the third, and that situation. I've never walked the ball, but I know plenty of people who have. I know many members of houses. So seeing this on TV, it's so much for us. We get so excited and we want so much. We expect so much from this that it's like, let these shows breathe. Let them let it develop, and hopefully it spins off, you know, opens the door for more shows to get made. And we put so much on one show. And Pose is something that's groundbreaking. So hopefully we get that from those deals or whatever that she has down the road in regards of, you know, her Netflix deal and that sort of thing. I want to see more of that. And I know Dylon, I think that's how you say it, Dylon Burnside, who plays Ricky, had something to say in regards of the legacy of what they want to leave behind with Pose. And I'm really hoping that it does. And I know this show will live on, and I'm upset that, like I said before, that it's only 3 seasons. But, you know, this show is definitely going to leave a mark in history, and I'm just hoping that it opens more doors. So I just want to play y'all this clip of Dylon talking about Pose and what he's learned from the show. Roll that clip.
What's the legacy of the show going to be?
I think the legacy of the show is going to be a couple of things. I think it's going to be one about love. I think it's going to be one about acceptance. I think it's something about authenticity. and standing firmly in your truth, and how powerful it is when folks stand firmly in their truths, and that they're able to have the acceptance.
Mhm. And shout out to Variety for that clip. We got a shout out where we get our references and our sources and things of the nature from. But you want to know something? One of the things that I do love is that while I know Mock is complaining about the lack of financial support and the fact that she's making 40 grand an episode for Pose, I do appreciate the fact that we have people out here like Stephen Canals who, in the speech that same night, I believe, said that it's not lost on me that as a cis man, my career in this story is built on the backs of Black and Afro Latinx child. That's too much. Y'all be okay. Let's move on. Black and Afro Latinx trans women who have told the best story of all. So thank you, especially to the women of our show. And it's great to acknowledge that with this show, that they realize that if it wasn't for the Black trans and Latinx community, there would be no story. So women always, they always say women rule the world, women rule the earth. It's always the women who are the ones who are the carriers, who are the nurturers, who are the ones that create these contexts. So yes, I love the show. I love people, the characters that are on it. I love me some India. I love Angelica. I love Dominique. I love me some Haley. I love all the women who, and the fact that this show is so groundbreaking and has brought so many trans women of color, making history of them being, the most Black trans women or trans women of color who have graced a primetime screen. This is something we've never seen before. So I'm really hoping that we, this door, kick that door open. Don't wait on people to be ready for a show like Pose or something with an idea similar to get through the door. We need more shows like this. We need more representation. And hopefully we don't have another situation where we had Noah's Ark, then it took 15, 16 years for another Noah's Ark-esque or groundbreaking show in the context of that to get made and to get put on TV like Pose. We ain't doing another 15 damn years of this, where we gotta wait another decade. We're not doing that no more. Thank God we have so many avenues with streaming services and cable and that sort of thing that we can create those avenues and we can make those opportunities happen. So if y'all got an idea, definitely make sure y'all put it out there and you make it happen. And even though like they said, nobody's perfect. Hopefully they work things out. Jen and Mock, Hollywood wakes up over and pays attention to her gripes within the industry. And if she and Papi are able to work it out and he's willing to forgive her over the infidelity, by all means do you, sis. And if they don't, then go your separate ways and that sort of thing. But yeah, the one thing that I feel is trans women want a great opportunity. They want that perfect guy, the guy that loves them and this, that, and the other, and then she finally gets it and then messes it up. So now they were looking at it and I know there was a situation where I had a conversation with a friend of mine who is trans and I wholeheartedly disagree with her. She basically painted Angel as gay because he's with a trans woman. And I'm like, so this is exactly the reason why cis men will not claim trans women because of that narrative. And this is coming from someone who's trans. You sound like a lot of these women out here who are quiet as this cat are mad over the fact that that trans women even exist because they feel like that trans women are trying to take up their space and trying to push them to the side because now men want, a woman with a little something extra because of something different. But I'm like, how about y'all have the conversation with these men and open up that conversation and realize why they are the way they are? And when you make that revelation and you're trying to call a man who's in love with a trans woman or in a relationship with a trans woman gay, this is why these men do not claim trans women because of that. Because there's this stigma surrounding, things in regards of sexuality and gender and that sort of thing. There's, the whole machismo thing, the, misogyny and all that other stuff that plays into it. Allow men to be men and figure out why they love who they love and stop putting labels.
What?
Yeah, stop putting people in a damn box and let them figure out and love on who they want to love on. So, yeah, I guess at this point, there's no more to add on this. I'll definitely be watching Pose, and I'll be doing my Pose episode reviews, which you can catch on Mondays I've been jumping on the line and basically doing my pose reviews because I've been doing it since season 1. So of course I got to go out and continue it. So yeah, basically, if anything, love you all for watching. Click like, subscribe, share this video with your friends, leave a comment. I definitely want to hear what you guys got to say on this. And, you know, positive, negative, just keep it respectful. You know, I want to definitely hear what you guys got to say about this. So without further ado, love you all for watching. Till next time, ciao, darlings.
What did you feel when you heard or saw our president last night say to young trans kids, you have a president who has your back?
It is nice to have a president, like President Obama as well, who would say trans, who would, I know that Biden is probably going to start back up the Pride celebration at the White House. You know, we got someone who is saying the right things. But I'm gonna need a few executive orders. That's what I want to see, are some executive orders around IDs. There's a lot of things that we can do that our nation is just used to doing so many things because it's always the way it's been done. But COVID showed us that we can find a new way, that there is a new way. And so I think that we can do things. I think this president is better than the last, but I think he still needs to be pushed. And I'm the girl to push.